computer. All right, guys. So today is the 13th of March. I got two lessons today and a couple of things I want to go. I think we kind of tapped on one of these lessons, but I got two of them. One of them I got some pretty good pictures. The other one I think we need some flow charts, so that's why I kind of left it alone. But let's just crack right into it, guys. Anybody got any questions so far? All right. So let me grab this first one right here. So the last time we were here, we actually did chapter one. So guys, we're gonna jump into chapter two. And these are the people that's gonna be involved in these projects, guys. So we so when you're managing projects, these are the main players. And I think I talked about a few of these right here, but these are some of the main players. I want to go into detail on some of these players in the construction project because when you're doing these projects, guys, you got to know who you're dealing with and know what they're responsible for. So here we go. All right. All right. So these right here are the project participants. So any job, and guys, this works for residential and commercial. Okay. Something, let me just kind of pull this up right here, just like that. May not be able to see. All right, so how many people does it take to build a project, guys? I can say when I'm building a residential home, I have about 57 subcontractors. I think I counted 57 on an average size house, maybe a 3,000 square foot house. It's probably going to take about 57 subcontractors to come over there and do everything. All the way down from I'd start with your attorneys, your surveyor, all the way to your closing attorney, real estate agents, and you start all the way there. You got your loan guys. By the time I think I counted it up, about 57 people, all the way from the footings person, the bank. Um, that's about how many on a residential job. Let me call him back. So on a residential job, now on a commercial job, you probably looking at maybe three times that. So you may be looking at about 100 and maybe 150 people that are gonna come on that job site. Depends on how big that project is. Okay. If you guys are doing like a project like that, like the protective stadium or something like that, you probably got about 150 contractors gonna come in on that. When I say 150, um, that means that some of them, you might have three or four of them come from the same group. Okay. So that's kind of what you got. Let me just see. Um, the first guy we like to start with is going to be the person. It could be a team of people. Don't have to be just one person, but it's the initiators. So these people typically are the ones that they're the ones that purchase the product. Or they're the ones that purchase the service. Or they're the ones that initiate the whole thing. These are your owners. And now now on residential, this is your owners are going to do this. If you got a homeowner, they're going to have a budget. They're gonna have to go. Now, typically, a builder is going to guide them based on what they can afford, but initially they're going to have a budget. They're going to have this is what I can afford, and then we got to figure out a way to make that happen for them. Okay, so the owner is going to establish that initial budget. Okay, and it also defines the program, selects designers and teams. So the owner is gonna select the builder. You know that's kind of what the owner's gonna do. Walk in. Um, so they're gonna select the team and the people that's gonna be working. Um, they're gonna select the decorator. What is this doing? I think it's gonna pop me out of it. So hold on just a second. Somebody coming in this building. Um, so they're gonna select the designers and the team and you know, and even you're the builder, they're gonna determine who the builder's gonna be. Good Lord, what is going on here? Yeah. Something acting weird here. Jeez. Um, so the owners does that, guys. And then you have so we do have two types of owners. Um, one is gonna be public and one's gonna be private. I hear somebody walking out here. Give me just a second, guys. I figured it out, man. There's a crow on the ceiling. He's pecking on some stuff. All right. So you do have two types of owners. One is gonna be um your public, and then you have your private. So let's kind of look at these right here. Now, your public owners are going to be, they're going to, like if you got a project that's funded by the federal government or the city of Birmingham, or state, and they're going to have representatives. Like you might have the mayor, you might have the city council. And those guys are going to represent that owner, so you don't have like one person reducing their private money. It's like the taxpayers' dollars is going, but the councils are going to represent the people. So that's kind of like your public owners. Um, this is projects, these are funded by federal, state, and city. Since publicly funded, specific guidelines must be followed, guys. So when you get in, guys, anytime you deal with state, the state is going to create guidelines that must be followed. Just to and typically those guidelines is to create accountability. So you don't have somebody like going on right now with this Doge and all this kind of stuff. They didn't really have no solid guidelines, and people were just taking advantage of money. Because that money be coming, and if people figure out a way they can channel that money to them, that's just what they're gonna do. So, the guidelines have to be followed. I mean, anything that comes from state, local governments and all those guys, they have very stringent guidelines in most cases. Okay. Then you have your private owners, guys. These are, it don't just have to be one person. It could be a team of people. It could be a group of people who got together and they created a joint venture, and they got that joint venture together, and they serve as the owner. So you do have private owners, residential, commercial, office building spaces, um, which we call those developers, and minimal constraints on how the project is organized and managed, guys. So, the guidelines are not as stringent. Um, those when you have private owners, they have a little bit more split-second flexibility to make decisions and do things. Um, you know. So and it's kind of an advantage too, because you can move a little faster when you don't when you have split-second flexibility to make decisions. Okay. And typically, even on both sides, so if you have public and private, they're gonna have in a lot of cases, they're not gonna be out there all the time. Say for instance, if you got say you got the city council, they still got a job. They got things they got to do with to serve as council members for the city. So they don't really have a lot of time to sit here and manage a construction site. So in a lot of cases, they're going to have representatives, and even the owner, in most cases, owners, like, I don't know, you may have, someone who owns very wealthy. I don't know, what's the guy named George Soros, Elon Musk, or one of those guys, man, or whoever, they don't have time to actually watch. Well, let's just use Donald Trump. If Donald Trump is building another hotel, he don't really have time to sit there and watch that thing, or do this, that, and the other. So he hires his representative to be him, to help him kind of do that job site, kind of like a superintendent. Okay. Large organizations and institutions often employ full-time facility managers, guys, to kind of watch that site, just to make sure. And this is aside from the contractors. Okay. Other owners hire outside consultants, which is another thing that gets done. They're this is another way people can make money. Serve as consultants. I did that one time on a job, man. I served as a consultant, but according to the Home Builders Licensing Board, even if you're serving as the consultant, when you read the definition of home builder, you still a home builder. So you can't just say I'm consulting. I did that. I was like, I'm just consulting this job. But then probably middle of ways in the job, I started really looking at I started reading the law for the Home Builders Licensing Board. And it says even if you serve as a consultant, you're still the builder. All right, some owners rely on a building committee. Also, churches do that. You got a church, they're doing a project, they create a building committee. In all cases, the owner representative defines the project scope, budget, and timeline. So they're responsible for that. And remember, guys, you're going to keep seeing that, guys. Budget and time. And, scope, I guess you can say quality, so a code compliant. So these are your owner representatives. So they play a role in this as well, guys. Then you have what you call guys, you call these guys your design professionals. These are the guys that are gonna get in here and they're gonna actually design this thing, man. They're gonna actually like your architects, they lead vertical construction. And then your engineer, when I say they lead vertical construction, they're the ones to build the things going up, the architect. Then you have your engineers, they deal with the stuff that's horizontal, like your load bearing, your footings and your foundations and things like that. And yeah, and there are a lot more licensed design professionals. You have, surveyors. I mean, you have a couple of different types of engineers. You have structural, mechanical. You also have, I mean, they even have electrical and all that kind of stuff. What's the other one? Mechanical, structural, civil, for the parking lots and things like that. So you're going to have a design professional team as well, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Let's kind of look at the architects, guys. An architect translates and develops an owner's requirements and graphically. So he kind of draw this thing out. So they graphically they graphically presents them so that the constructor can accurately price, schedule, and construct the design. So that's what the architect do. He take what needs to happen and put it on paper so everybody can see it. So that there's clear details on what needs to be done, especially with that scope. That's what that architect is going to do. Architects are the industry's image makers. Okay, and a lot of times, guys, they're going to use they're going to use a program, a CAD program, in most cases. But architects in most cases they do a lot of load calculations too. So they, if they're trying to figure out the strength of something, they have to calculate that stuff just to make sure it can hold. It's going to be strong enough. Questions? Anybody got questions so far? It's cool with these. All right. Engineers, lead designers on horizontal infrastructure projects. Okay, they're responsible for the design, all of the engineered systems in commercial building projects, structure, mechanical, and electrical. They do it all. That's what that engineer is going to do. They're going to design all of that for you. And they'll send that to the architect, and the architect will put that in his plans. Complete coordination between the engineered systems is critical. Okay. Here's another term. It kind of sounds kind of weird. It's called constructors. Guys, this constructors is the term used to include both construction managers and general contractors. Okay. The constructor is responsible for the means and the methods. Okay, how you gonna do something? Of construction, whether the work is bid or negotiated at risk or not. Okay, that's what the instructors do. Kind of like a builder, a residential home builder, same thing as a constructor. These are some of the things it's going to be good that your constructors are going to be able to do. They need to have a good building knowledge, guys. They need to understand contracts, legal and regulatory environment, BMPs, best management practices, I think is what they call it. So, I mean, you got to have an idea of all this stuff, man. Demographic trends, personnel management. You got to be able to lead teams, company management, even teams within the company. Your scheduling. You got to understand construction so that you can know how to schedule. Okay. And you got to be, guys, I cannot emphasize this conflict resolution. You know, when you got people, when you got a lot of different people coming in, you know, you guys know this right here. Some of you guys work in corporate America. You get a bunch of people in there, man. There's gonna be some people getting cross with one another. You got to know how to resolve these conflicts. You're gonna have conflicts, and the name of the game is being able to have conflict resolution. Information system is another. You got to have an idea how to estimate. You got to understand costs. Negotiation. You know, I think every time I deal with my homeowners, there's a negotiation going on. Cash management, customer relations. That's a big thing, guys, because you know, when that customer, when that builder customer communication, if it breaks down, you got yourself a problem. You know, then you got people want to, you know, the first thing people here can think of doing is suing you. That's, you know, they put it in the legal hand, and typically, guys, your attorneys, you know, the only person gonna make money in that deal is gonna be your attorney. um, so it's good to try to resolve problems, man, and have good, you know, a good relationship with your customers. Um, and also industry advancement. So the industry actually gets advanced. So you got to keep your eye on that as well. Specialty contractors, man. I run into this every once in a while. I have special type guys that can come in and do different jobs. Um, and you know, even on some of my when I'm doing my contracts, guys, I'm sorry, when I'm doing my quotes and bids, you know, I even have like close to the last item. The last line item, I have specialty contractors, which means that on this particular job, I may be doing something a little bit different than the original job that I did. Because you really, I base my quotes based on a prior job. But then I have a specialty item, line item at the bottom, for things that, you know, may be a little bit different on this house that I didn't see on this house. Like one house may have a fireplace, a full masonry fireplace. Um, on this particular house, but I didn't have it on the other house. So I got it. That's a specialty item. One of them may have hardware that's on the garage doors. So that's a specialty item. I had to put that in there. Okay. Specialty contractors are generally known as subcontractors. The constructor is responsible for the coordination and hire of a specialty contractor. And in most commercial projects, you can always have a specialty contractor. As projects become more complex, the specialties become numerous, requiring a greater number of work packages. It's kind of what you got there. Everybody good? All right, let's get into the trades, man. So you got the trades. The building trades are responsible for the physical construction of the project. They're the ones that's going to piece it together. Okay. The increased complexity of projects demand an increased number of highly trained trade people. It's getting to the point now where you don't really have to be highly skilled. You don't have to be what they call a craftsman anymore, because the products that we have sort of becoming foolproof, you know, due to the advancement of products now. Current demographic trends show fewer young people entering the trades. This is an industry challenge, guys, and I can, you know, you I mean, everybody's recognizing that, man. The younger people, you know, they just don't want to go in the trade. I don't think they value and understand, um, you know, the amount of money and how well you could do in the trades. We just been kind of trained to go work for people, you know, just go get you a job. You know, somehow we got to kind of break from that, man. It's really hard to break from that, man, because especially if you know, I got a friend of mine right now, man. He got a, you know, he quit his job, but the only thing he knows is to go get a job. This guy's in his 50s. The only thing he knows is to go get a job instead of starting your own business or something like that. He can't see beyond that, man. So this is how we've been trained to go get a job, but we don't want to get jobs in the trades. You know, so especially the younger generation. So we got to get over that. Union versus merit shops. a continued debate. Um, I guess the debate is a lot of these contractors don't like unions. They try to tell you how to run your business. That becomes a problem. I think that this is my own personal opinion. If I got a company, man, I should be able to run it the way I want to run it. If people don't like it, quit, go get another job somewhere else. You also have material suppliers, man. These your owners, designers, and trade associations need to work together to establish product standards. Um, and all the products need to be consistent. So if I buy concrete needs to be consistent across the board. I shouldn't go to one concrete company and go to the other, and the concrete is totally different. There should be standards on that, and that's where you have like the American Concrete Institute, you have the American Plywood Association. They make sure there's a consistency in those products. Constructors can play an important role in the evaluation, pricing, and scheduling of different products. Okay. Equipment selection is a typical constructor responsibility and an important one. So when you're dealing with equipment, typically the person who's doing the construction, builder or constructor, they're going to be responsible for this right here, guys. Here goes some more participants that you're going to see in the building project process too, guys. You got financial institutions, that's your banks, credit unions, etc. You got your inspectors and testing laboratories. I had a girl to come out and test the house yesterday. And you have home inspectors and stuff, man. Um, that they do good as well if you can stay busy. Public officials, you got your mayors, your city councils, you also have your city engineer. You deal with them a lot. You have your building official. You deal with them inspectors and stuff like that. You're gonna see these guys. Construction attorneys, they around. Jeez. And the public, what else I got here? All right, these are some of the characteristics of a good project manager, guys. You're gonna confront problems, man. I'm gonna tell you guys, I can't say the least, man. You guys, if you got a problem, you need to deal with that problem head first. When you're doing construction, deal with the problem head first. Don't think it's just gonna go away. If you got a problem, something ain't quite right. Guys, if you building something, I promise you guys, when everything that ever went wrong in most of the houses up there, I already know what it is. They can call me a month after they move into that house. When I used to do that, you cover it up. Yeah, that ain't gonna be no big deal. And they call you for it. You already know what they're calling you for because you covered it up. If you got a problem, deal with those problems, man. Knock it out the way. If you got to tear some stuff out to get it right, do it. Because you're going to have to deal with it. That's just more stuff you got to deal with now. And you got to be organized, man. This whole thing, the processes. You got to love what you're doing, man. You got to be enthusiastic about what you're doing. You got to love it. This ain't something that you get in here and you're just doing it for the money. You got to love it. You got to like to go out to a job site and you don't see anything there but woods, and then you're the one that actually make all this happen. This is the mindset. And you need to be able to communicate well. I suffer on this side right here, guys. Sometimes I can't produce the words to reflect what I'm really feeling in a way that is very diplomatic and and it's not harming to that to the people that's around me. Sometimes I don't use a lot of euphemism, man. I'm straight to the point. I'm so direct, man. It's hard for me to communicate well, as you would say. So those are things that, we as contractors or contractors, we're going to have to work on. You got to be able to motivate, man. Now I can do that pretty good, man. Especially being a coach at one point in time. Coaching football, track, and things like that. So, motivation. I mean, just motivating anything, man. You got to be able to motivate well and being flexible. You don't want to be so rigid until you can't bend or adjust. Okay. Be able to delegate. I think I hear somebody coming in. Hey, man, what you know good? What's that, man? That's some Starbucks. Oh, that's McDonald's. I thought you had Starbucks.
Trying to keep that cap. Keep me out of those little cat be.
Oh, what is that? That's got that sugar in it, man. That's gonna put you to sleep.
Yeah. Wake you up with it. You think you stay woke enough.
Yeah.
Get through the lecture.
Yeah, man, I might have to go get me a I should have got me a Starbucks.
See what you need. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I got to get me a coffee or something, man. No, I think I'm good, man. I'm cutting these carbs out, man. So this is like my second day chopping them carbs. Man, it's hard to cut out carbs, man. I tell you what, man. God, I love some carbs. If I can
be fasting for the next 40 days.
Who, you?
Lent, Lent. This Ramadan for the Muslims and this Lent for the.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Stay away from that.
Come on, buddy. Don't do that again. Man, something's going on with this thing, man. What is going on? Give me just a second, guys. My technical. All right, it works. I hope it does. All right. Another project manager's skill set, man, that you want to have, man, you want to be able to multitask. You got to be able to think, be able to, you're going to be juggling. I'm going to tell you something, man. You're going to be juggling. This is like a juggling game, man. You're going to be juggling a whole bunch of different people all at one time. So that's the mindset you got to have. Let me see. And have strong moral grounding, guys. I tell you what, that's a very profound statement right there. Have strong moral grounding, guys. I mean, this comes all the way down to the money. Because if you're not morally grounded, man, you're gonna, something. Let me just say this right here. You can't be a person. You got to have a passion for what you're doing. That's just how I think. You got to have that passion for what you're doing. And that passion needs to drive everything else. But you can't have a love for money. So I had one of my fraternity brothers. I mean, man, you start talking about money, man. He was an attorney too, man. His eyes just lit up, man. We love money. But he didn't really have anything. I mean, he was an attorney, but he wasn't passionate about being an attorney. He felt like, being an attorney, he could make some money, So he was just in it for the money, man. And that's how he got in trouble. He ended up going to prison, man, doing some, I don't know if you remember back in the day when, they had these little games going on, like the attorney, the real estate agent, the appraiser, all those guys all in the game together. And they'll go buy a house that's in Birmingham for $2,000 for $20,000, and they have it appraised for $70,000. They'll pull out $50,000. They was in this little game, man, and he was one of the ones that went down. Yeah, man. So your morals, man. I mean, you got to have a very strong moral code. Back when I was guys in this building industry, man, I did a YouTube video just the other day. And I was just talking about just dealing with customers, man. I'm just saying, in a lot of cases, just to keep down on confusion, if you're dealing with a married couple, as a man, I only deal with the husband. I don't talk to y'all, they can talk, but I'm gonna deal with that husband, man. I mean, that just keep the confusion out of the game. But you got to have a very strong moral grounding, guys. Okay. Are there any questions on what I just got finished going through, guys? Anybody want to add any comments, anything to it? I got to hold on to this right here. The PowerPoint presentation was nice. I like it. I had my pictures to it. Let's look at this one right here, guys.